Good evening. This is TVRI News, bringing you the latest news and information from around the world. I'm Sandrina Malakiano, and with me here this evening is PRIO Sutioko. First, the headlines. President Abdurrahman Wahid met with Ministers of Finance and Maritime Exploration today in Jakarta. The Indonesian Army leaves East Timor today.
Also, the Malaysian government provides aid to East Timorese refugees. And we also take a look at the all-male striptease performance in Taiwan, gone too wild over bad publicity. Now the news in detail.
Available data showed that illegal fish catching in Indonesian territorial waters amounts to $4 billion per year, whereas annual legal proceeds were recorded at only $2.2 billion. This was noted to reporters by Ocean Exploration Minister Sarwono Kusuma Atmaja following a meeting with President Abdurrahman Wahid at Wisma Indonesia this afternoon. The minister emphasized on the potential of Indonesian territorial waters to help improve the people's welfare. Commenting on preparations for the department under his leadership, Minister Sarwono noted on the importance of providing both the public and related institutions with adequate information on the functions and duties of the department. The minister said he will soon form a team of experts to assess various aspects related to his department, including prevailing regulations. Later in the day, Finance Minister Bambang Sudibyo also met with President Abdurrahman Wahid. Speaking to reporters after the meeting, Minister Bambang Sudibyo noted that the nation's economy is currently under a relatively safe condition. Up to now, there is a 17 trillion surplus in the financial balance. Responding to questions on the possibility for the withdrawal of oil and gas subsidies, the minister emphasized on the need for very careful consideration on the matter.
As of today, all Indonesian officials, military and police in East Timor have officially departed Indonesia's former 27th province. Following the government's ending of martial law, East Timor, and handing over responsibility for security to Interfed Indonesia's 3,500 military personnel, is reduced to 925, remaining along with 30 members of the post-referendum team. Army Chief of Staff General Subagio Hadisiswoyo, at the opening of infantry, cavalry, artillery, and Army engineers courses, told reporters that the withdrawal of all military personnel in East Timor is underway from today. Commenting on the need for training, he said that there have been indications of a decline in professionalism within the Army, where training is required to produce a truly professional Army with the skills required by a military corps.
Humanitarian aid from foreign countries continues to flow for East Timorese refugees in East Nusa Tenggara. Malaysia's ambassador to Indonesia, Dato' Rustam Muhammad Isa, visited Kupang in East Nusa Tenggara to provide medicine and food for the refugees. The aid, worth 700 million rupiah, was handed over to the governor of East Nusa Tenggara, Pete Atalo. The medicine and food will be distributed to refugees by the provincial government. At the occasion, Ambassador Dato' Rustam Muhammad Isa also promised that his government will also soon be providing water pumps to help the fresh water supply for the refugees. Later, the Malaysian ambassador was present as the refugees departed to return to East Timor through Kupang's El Tari airport. During his visit to refugee camps in Kupang, the ambassador Dato' Rustam Muhammad Isa took the opportunity to speak with the refugees and discuss their problems.
The United States has expressed concern about Russia's military campaign in Chechnya during a visit by the Russian Interior Minister to Washington. The U.S. State Department says Russia has failed to persuade Washington of the wisdom of the military campaign in the breakaway Republic of Chechnya, and reports that refugee convoys had been bombed in the morning only heightened the tension. Russian Interior Minister Vladimir Rushailo explained Moscow's strategy to U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright during a one-hour meeting on Friday. But State Department spokesman James Rubin said the conversation hadn't changed her position.
In Chechnya, and the fact that there did not seem to be an exit to a political solution. She heard out the...
And those were the headlines. Next, we have more local reports in the next segment.
First, from Colombia, a report on the largest serial murder case in history.
A handyman known as Goofy has confessed to raping, torturing, and then beheading some 140 children during a 7-year orgy of bloodshed in Colombia's biggest ever serial murder case. The mutilated corpses of at least 114 of his mostly male victims, aged between 8 and 16, has been discovered in nearly more than 60 towns in 11 of Colombia's 32 provinces, according to Chief Prosecutor Alfonso Gomez. Luis Alfredo Garavita has admitted the murder of about 140 children, of which we have so far found 114 skeletons, and we're still investigating the disappearance of other children, Gomez said in a report sure to shock the nation just 2 days before Halloween. Authorities said the bodies were beheaded and bore signs of having been tied up and mutilated. They said 42-year-old Garavito would drink heavily and then bind his young victims with nylon cords. Garavito, also known by the aliases of the priest and the madman, posed as a street trader or a monk and loitered near schools across the country chatting to pupils. Investigators said the alleged serial killer befriended the children of poor and even peasant families and invited them to take a walk to remote rural areas until they became tired. He would then attack his victims, tie them up, torture and rape them before slashing their throats and beheading them. The nationwide murder investigation was triggered after 36 decomposing corpses were found in shallow graves in scrubland on the outskirts of the city of Pereira in 1998. Garavito was arrested in April this year and was being held in the eastern plains of the city of Villa Vicentia on charges of attempting to rape a child. Investigations led to his confession to the 140 deaths during a court session on Thursday.
The new Minister of Trade and Industry, Yusuf Kalla, denies that the real sector is totally paralyzed. He says that on the contrary, there are many industries presently experiencing rapid development. Following the ceremony handing over the trade ministry from the ex-minister Hardy Ramalan to himself, Yusuf Kalla, that the economic crisis negatively impacted the real sector, which is capital intensive and uses imported raw materials. He expects it will not be an easy task to get moving again, those industries that have been most heavily hit, as this will require interaction with other sectors such as banking. The trade minister, nonetheless, is determined to revive the real sector through providing good cooperation with other institutions. Regarding the future of the State Logistic Agency, the minister said that every country requires such an agency, as stability of food supply is essential for all economic sectors.
The European Commission scientists said no to French evidence offered to support a ban on British beef exports over fears of mad cow disease. After a week of deepening tensions between London and Paris, the top panel of scientists filed a report to lift French and Germans' ban of British beef imports, which was suspected to be disease-prone. A European Commissioner, David Byrne, argued that following a thorough examination on the concerns raised by the French authorities, a review on the matter was unnecessary. He added that the conclusions had been already sent to the European Parliament and that representatives of French, British and German governments were contacted. Commissioner Byrne asserted that he was confident that a rapid solution to the findings was in sight. The British Prime Minister Tony Blair expressed his gratitude over the report, since it would benefit the farmers and exporters to the business in Europe. There was no immediate comment from the French government, and to guarantee safetiness, the meat must be deboned and come only from animals aged between 6 to 30 months.
There is new pressure on the cigarette industry as the government imposes a new law banning cigarette advertising in the electronic media and limiting nicotine and tar. Law number 81 of this year regulates tar and nicotine content in cigarettes. Producers have responded vocally, protesting they were not consulted in forming the policy. The new law comes in response to 57,000 smoking-related deaths yearly in Indonesia. Smoking-related illness has required the Department of Health to provide a budget 8.5% higher than was originally allocated. The law not only regulates tar and nicotine in cigarettes, but also prohibits cigarettes advertising in the electronic media. President Director of the British American Tobacco Company, Mark Kenning, said that his company's products conform to international health standards, particularly those of the World Health Organization. He complained that the new law could kill the Indonesian tobacco industry. He argued that the industry is committed in assisting to recuperation of the ailing economy and said that the government should have consulted the industry prior to issuing the new law.
Jakarta is known for its rich cultural heritage and varieties of tourist attractions. In tonight's feature, we take you to the historic city to explore its many wonders.
Stay tuned for more global news right after this.
Industry in Indonesia serves as a moving spirit of the nation's economy, aside from the oil and natural gas sector and many other important industrial sectors. The tourism sector will surely have a positive influence towards public welfare if it is well managed. With the changeover of government, currently led by President Abdurrahman Wahid, or commonly known as Gus Dur, signs of development in tourism is coming to view, especially with the strengthening of the rupiah. The democratic presidential election, acknowledged by the people, eventually regained the market's trust in the government. Signs of economic stability and a more conducive environment are becoming apparent, shown by the reduction in violence reported across the nation. Although the number of tourists visiting in the past couple of years has significantly declined, affected by the increase in violence during the initial process of reform, steps that have been made in view of a new Indonesia should be maintained and developed in order to attract more international tourists to Indonesia. The Special Administrative Territory of Jakarta in Central Java covers 314,000 hectares and has a population of approximately 4 million. Even though it is one of the most frequently visited tourist destinations by international and local tourists, the economic crisis hit hard Jakarta's tourism sector. This decline is apparent when comparing the number of tourists in 1996, which totaled 635,000 people, and the number in 1999 declined to only 70 people. The support of related institutions linked to tourism and the strong support of the people in the tourism industry in restructuring and developing facilities and supportive elements, positive results are surfacing, bringing back tourists to Jakarta.
Understand about the slowdown of the tourists from abroad, but Yogyakarta make so many events in here, culture tourism, event culture tourism here to improve and to make image Yogyakarta is safe for the tourism. We also improve the object and also improve the employer for give the best services for tourism.
Pura Wisata Park, one of Yogyakarta's well-known fairgrounds. Aside from providing several playing grounds for visiting children, the park is also known as the only park where visitors can watch local and popular dangdut singers perform every night. A strong interest in dangdut songs by the local people and visitors have allowed the park to feature these performances. park, visitors can also dine and enjoy an open-air performance of the traditional Rayana Dance. This is the trait that has made Pura Wisata Park stand out compared to other parks in Indonesia.
Pura Wisata, this is a golden spot in entertainment in town, and maybe this is the best performance in town, in Jakarta, because when our guests come to Pura Wisata, there is so many chairs. Particularly, you can enjoy our dinner in gazebo restaurant, in natural, and services in excellent. With the prepare, the cook and food from our international standard cookers. Not only that, because our restaurant also you can choose when you like seafood restaurant in the Balinese atmosphere or a Japanese atmosphere. We can give you in the best services.
In general, the tourists here can relax and enjoy the local traditional delicacies and authentic indigenous arts all in one place, a pleasure that cannot be found anywhere else.
Fantastic, very nice, yes. I love the decoration, and the traditional music is very nice.
It's wonderful countryside, very stunning, very different from Europe.
Pura Wisata Park has also prepared several interesting events for the New Year's party of the Millennium, called Java 2000 Millennium.
In this year, and the closing of the Millennium, we would like to perform the 2000 Millennium Party. In this party, we would like to perform the traditional ancient Javanese culture, especially Nini Tawong, Ramayana Magnificent Ballet, which most of them will be surrounded by the mystical and animism cultural. We would like on this party, the guests from the foreign countries will be numbered at 750 people.
Efforts in developing tourism in Jakarta must be in balance with the efforts by related institutions in creating and maintaining a good image about Indonesia's situation. By maintaining a good image, tourists will not be hesitant to visit our beautiful land. As a result, hopefully, the improvements will return the tourism industry as one of Indonesia's primary source of revenue.
Treasures from the days of California gold rush are due to go under the hammer when Sotheby's auctions items retrieved from the wreck of a ship that sank off the Californian coast in 1857. Sotheby's director of coins and medals said that the treasure found on the ship is worth in excess of $100 million by today's value. He added that at the time in 1857 when the ship sank, gold currency was in demand. Therefore, the rarities has valuable historical and aesthetic values. The items were found on the ocean floor of the Atlantic with no current to disturb it. The gold of the SS Central America was unharmed, even as the iron and wooden ship deteriorated around it. The gold bars and sea pumps were being transported from the West Coast, where thousands of young men known as the 49ers had rushed to Northern California to mine the precious metal. The sale at Sotheby's auction house in New York will offer a range of rare gold bars ranging in weight from 4.95 ounces to an immense bar weighing 663 ounces, valued at over $150,000. Other discoveries included 7 $10 gold pieces valued at $20,000 each.
Publicity gone bad forces Taiwanese all-male striptease entertainers to dress up and clear the stage. A squad of male stripteasers called the Manpower recently ended their successful run at the fitness center following pressure from the police and negative publicity, which drove the audience away. In front of all ages of women audience, the dancers rocked the house and struffed their stuff, wearing vocational uniform, including the army suits. The show offered an appealing private coaching to women, something which produced high popularity to the group. Unfortunately, due to the dancers' popularity and an avalanche of publicity made by many customers uneasy as they preferred such entertainment to be private. The local police also heard about them and visited the club, consequently found illegal activities, including underage drinking. The officers also found out that the fledgling companies was being run without proper business documents, nor with a fitness instructor's license to train. Facing uncertain future, the dancers will not stop entertaining people. And as for the police, they have yet to confirm whether or not they will shut down the business.
And that's the news for tonight. Tune in again tomorrow for more news and information on TVRI. I'm Sandrina Malakiano.
And I'm PRIO Sutioko. Thanks very much for joining us, and good night.